Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday here at noon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up. Click on that and it will have qualified therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other goddamn therapist for that matter. Thanks a lot. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, that is all out of the way. All right, so not sure what's going on with New York. I've had a lot of people saying, are you going to cancel? Are you not? I will let you know by April 1st, because by April 1st, I'll get a better idea of what's going on. So April 1st, I will let you know about that. And as far as Europe is concerned, I don't know yet. So probably by the 1st of May, I will make a decision on whether or not that is going forward or not. I'm just keeping an eye on the World Health Organization and see what's happening. Hi, everybody. So couple of just, health and well-being things. So it's really important to do self-care during this time of, insanity. So one thing that you can do is you can do online yoga. So remember, Leslie Rowan, who is my Yoga Nidra life coach friend in the west side of town, she does Yoga Nidra. Also, there are free ones online. You can do yoga with Adrian. That's a wonderful one. I really enjoy that one. If you need to get a hold of a life coach, they can go across state lines. So Susanna Quintana, okay, SusannaQuintana.com. She can use Skype. She can use phone. She can do Zoom. She can do all of that. And Sarah Picaro as well. So these are your go-to if you're out of the Arizona area. If you are in the Arizona area and you are one of my clients, I am now using Doxy.me. So we'll be doing video sessions, especially if we go into lockdown. So, and I can also do phone sessions. So this is only for Arizona clients. I cannot video conference anybody outside the state of Arizona. So, okay, I think that's all the, and P.S. stop hoarding toilet paper. Okay, and stop hoarding rubbing alcohol, because people with catheters need that to clean out their apparatuses. So anyway, if you know somebody who is shut in, who has got a catheter or is, got any sort of a medical equipment and they need rubbing alcohol, please check in on them. Please share your hoard with them. Okay, guys, it's going to take a village here. So stop acting like a narcissist. Get your head out of your hindsight, start acting like a human being and check in on each other and make sure everybody's okay. Other thing I wanted to say is that I'm hearing from Houston that the domestic violence calls are like through the roof, and severe child abuse is happening there and being reported. So if you hear anything that sounds like domestic violence, so, somebody screaming, somebody sounding like they're getting hit, whether it's an adult or whether it's a child, whether it's male, whether it's female, call 911, okay? So, because we've got to watch out for each other, because remember, all of the targets of abuse are stuck at home right now with their abusers. So it's really important that we keep our ears open, our eyes open, and we're looking and we're listening. And if we hear or see anything that sounds like domestic violence, call the police. Just do a welfare check. That's all you got to do. Okay, let's talk about attachment styles. So one of the questions that I have been getting a lot of is that, okay, what is an attachment style? What is attachment disorder? What is that? What is that? What is that? So what it is that when we are born, right, in a healthy, normal family, mom and dad care for us. They take care of us. They take care of our needs. They are there when we cry. They change our diapers. They feed us. They, burp us. They love us. They hold us. They take care of us. That's in a healthy, normal family. So quickly, a child who's got a good attachment recognizes, oh, my caregivers are here. They're taking care of me. I am not being ignored, abandoned, beaten. I'm not being hurt or harmed. I am being loved and held and burped and fed and changed and paid attention to, and not allowed to sit in a crib and scream for hours on end. So that child grows up with a secure attachment. When somebody's got a secure attachment, they're chill. It's like they're not panicked when the parents walk out of the room. They're not panicked when somebody goes off to do something. There's no fear or jealousy or, oh my God, or any of that. It's a secure attachment. They have faith and trust that their caregiver is going to come back. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So the articles that I pulled, both of them, are from Psychology Today. One is called "What is your relationship attachment style?" So we're going to talk about that. And the other one is called "How your attachment style impacts your relationships." So similar. So basically what it is, securely attached adults tend to be more satisfied in their relationships. They don't have the insecurity. So in other words, securely attached adults have got good self-esteem. This does really, truly all boil back down to self-esteem. And where we learn our self-esteem initially in the beginning is from our caregivers. And if our caregivers are not there to show us that we are cared for and that we are worth being cared for, we start developing very maladaptive ways of dealing with that. So hold on. All right, so they tend to have, secure attachment, healthy attachment. They tend to be more satisfied in their relationships. Children with secure attachments see their parents as a secure base from which they can venture out, independently explore the world. So they have confidence. They have self-esteem. They have the, I can do it. This is not scary. Okay, it's scary, but hey, they got my back. I'm good. I'm good to go. Okay. A secure adult has a similar relationship with a romantic partner, feeling secure and connected while allowing themselves and their partners the ability to move freely. So there's no freaking out when your partner says, hey, I need a girls' night out, or hey, I need a guy's night out, or whatever. It's like, okay, well, have fun. I'll see you, that kind of thing. Secure adults offer support when their partner feels distressed, something that narcissists are unable to do. They cannot comfort. They cannot offer words of support. They cannot offer, because they're so disordered in their own head. They have no empathy. They have no ability to reach out and go, hey, here's some support. Let me comfort you. Let me reassure you, that everything is going to be okay. That's what a healthy, normal adult does. One that is not a healthy, normal adult has no clue how to comfort their partner or anybody else for that matter. Okay. They go to their partner for comfort when they themselves feel troubled. So in other words, the team, that's what it is. It's like two secure adults. They turn towards each other when they are in distress, as opposed to away from each other. And this is all from Gottman. So Gottman does the Gottman technique for couples counseling. And he's done study after study after study after study. He's got an apartment up in Washington where they have cameras on the couple, and they watch the couple interacting with each other. And the couples who turn away from each other are more likely to end up divorcing, breaking up, etc., than the couples are that turn towards each other. So in other words, healthily attached adults turn towards each other. Unhealthy attachments tend to turn away from each other. Okay. Their relationship tends to be honest, open, and equal, with both people feeling independent, yet loving towards each other. Securely attached couples don't tend to engage in where did that other page go? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Oh, I don't know where that went. That was interesting. Anyway, they don't tend to engage in jealousy, game playing, lying, manipulating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that is what a healthy attachment is. And a lot of us don't know what that is. If we have found ourselves in abusive relationships and we do the work, we do the CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker and the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor, we start discovering, I was groomed for this years and years and years ago when I was a child. We start realizing what our attachments were to our caregivers growing up. I cannot stress the importance of this. This is why when I hear people say, oh, I just let them sit in this crib and scream, that you're setting your kid up for disaster. You are. Children need to be reassured, taken care of, comforted, fed, clothed, changed, etc. So here are the disordered attachment styles. So anxious, preoccupied attachment style. Those with strong anxious, preoccupied attachment style tend to manifest at least several of the following traits on a regular basis. They're inclined to feel more nervous and less secure about relationships in general. There's no trust. There's no trust. In romantic relationships in particular. They are reluctant to give people the benefit of the doubt. They have a tendency for automatic negative thinking when interpreting others' intentions, words, and actions. So in other words, they personalize everything and they always put a negative spin on it. It's always, well, they did that on purpose and they're doing this to hurt me and da 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 da. And it's because when they were growing up, that's exactly what was going on. So they're not wrong in assuming that other people are going to do the same thing, but it ends up damaging them because then they can't have a healthy relationship, because a healthily attached person will go, stop accusing me of things that I have not done. You will often see in people with borderline personality disorder this kind of attachment, the anxious, preoccupied attachment style. Okay. Requires constant stroking of love and validation to feel secure and accepted. Responds negatively when not provided with regular positive reinforcement. So in other words, kids that don't have parents that mirror back to them who they are in this world. Okay, so this is where we first learn self-esteem, is from our caregivers. So if the caregiver is not mirroring back to us, yes, you're worthy. Yes, I'm going to take care of you. Yeah, I got your back. Yeah, hey, I'll change you. Hey, I'll burp you. Hey, I'll feed you. Hey, I'll clothe you. Hey, you're a good kid. Hey, that kind of thing. That's where we learn our internal dialogue. Okay. If we've got a parent who is neglectful, because remember, I talked about neglect last time. Neglect is abuse, guys. Neglect is abuse, because what message does that send to the kid? Send to the kid that they're not worth it. Mom and dad don't care, or mom or dad don't care. So we learn our internal dialogue by nonverbal behavior from our caregivers and by verbal behavior from our caregivers. So this is where we learn who we are in this world. And this is where we start getting either our healthy internal cheerleader, which is the go you, you're fabulous, I love you, good job. Oops, you fucked up. Okay, make amends. Okay, good. Forgive yourself, move on. Or we get the internal critic, which is the voice of the abuser, which is what the abuser told us who we were all the time. Well, you're stupid. You're that. You're this. You're fat. You're too thin. How dare you? How dare you exist? You're a pain in my ass. I can't retire until you're gone. Blah, 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 blah. I can't wait until you're 18. I'm going to kick you out of the house. You're not worth it. Blah, blah, blah. All of those horrible messages become our internal critic. Okay. So when a child has got a parent that is neglectful or abusive or whatever, they do not have that internal cheerleader that is like, hey, that wasn't personal. Hey, this is okay. You're all right. Keep going. I love you. Good job. It's not there because they didn't hear it when they were growing up, when they were little. Okay. I mean, everybody's like, oh, they're just a baby. They won't remember. Bullshit. They'll remember. The body keeps score. Great book. Again, I could never remember that guy's name. Vanderbeek? No. Van Birkenstock? Shit. Anyway, Body Keeps Score, great book, read it. So that's why they need that constant reassurance, because they don't have that internal love, that internal self-esteem, because self-esteem is self-love, telling them, you're okay, keep going. Okay, you screwed up. Okay, make amends. Good, you did. Forgive yourself, move on. That is not there. So that is why you often see them demanding approval from outside, because when we're little, where do we get our safety from? It is from outside of us, because we can't take care of ourselves because we're babies, right? So we can't go get a job. We can't go, chop down trees and build a fire. We can't, hunt and get food. We are completely dependent upon our caregiver. And if our caregiver was neglectful or abusive, we are left to our own devices, and we don't have that internal love going, hey, you're going to be okay. Everything's fine. You don't need constant reassurance. I'm here. So it's almost like having a good parent in your head kind of thing. Okay. Drama oriented. Now this is the anxious preoccupied. Okay. And like I said, this is very often found with people that have borderline personality disorder. Again, remember, borderline personality disorder is rooted in trauma. So these people that have these attachment styles are more than likely to have borderline personality disorder, and it is because of the trauma that they went through as a child. Makes perfect sense. Drama oriented. Constantly working on and sometimes inventing relationship issues in order to seek validation, reassurance, or acceptance. So, in other words, they'll create things that are not even real. So, let's say that the romantic partner has to work late a couple of times during the week, right? And doesn't come home. Well, in the mind of somebody that's got the preoccupied, anxious attachment style, they will immediately jump from point A to point Z and skip everything in between, not ask the partner why they have to work late or gosh, can you call me or anything like that. They will immediately assume that they are having an affair. And in their mind, they will create this entire thing that is not even true. So it's a danger for this attachment disorder style, this anxious, preoccupied one, to get into the head, ruminate, chewing the cud. What about this and what about that? What if? Great deal of anxiety, and to create scenarios that are not true. So remember what I talked about yesterday when I did that little one-off video is when people don't have all of the information, especially little kids, they fill in the blanks. And they usually come up with the worst case scenario you could possibly imagine. I mean, they go from their disaster reports are usually like, DEFCON 1 or whatever the worst one is. And, everything's bad, everything's horrible, this is happening, as if it were real. So in borderline personality disorder, that is considered part of the psychotic thinking. So it borders on psychotic thinking because they literally make the logic leap from point A, spouse has to work late a couple of nights a week, to, oh my God, I'm going to get divorced. They're going to leave me. They're having an affair. I know it's with X, Y, and Z, and stuff that's not even happening. So they're living in a future that has not happened. Why? Because when you are in an abusive household, you have to second guess what crazy mom and dad are doing. You have to second guess what neglectful caregiver is or is not going to do. And so in order to stay safe, you're constantly trying to second guess what other people are thinking and doing in order to try to keep your little heart safe. Unfortunately, when we grow up and get out of that environment and go out and try to have a healthy relationship, we end up tanking the relationship because we start making stuff up that's not even real. So that is what is going on with that. Creating drama where none exists. Creating relationship issues in order to seek validation, reassurance, and acceptance. So really, when somebody is accusing their spouse of cheating, or they're fearful of their spouse cheating, and I'm not talking narcissists, okay? Narcissists have a completely different agenda for doing that. They do not have an insecure attachment disorder or style. They are just non-empathetic, and it's all about power and control. Don't forget that. So when that's going on, what the inner child, little kid inside, is hoping for is that the partner will reassure them. No, everything's fine. I love you. I have picked you. You are my one. You are my person. That kind of thing. So, but that's very rarely what ends up happening. Usually what ends up happening is the spouse gets so fed up with being constantly accused of cheating or doing something inappropriate or whatever, it ends up tanking the relationship. And it may have been a really good relationship, but because the inner child is running the show, because that anxious, preoccupied inner child is the one driving the anxiety, the relationship blows up. Dislike being without company, struggle to be by one's self. Okay, so I've got a dog hair that I just don't know where it is. Good Lord, I was kissing Scotty earlier. That's what I get for kissing my dog. Okay, so when we have got this anxious, preoccupied attachment thing, and this is why this is predominantly in people with borderline personality disorder, the thoughts run rampant. Remember, so borderline personality disorder has traits of all the major personality disorders, and it borders on psychotic thinking. And what I mean by that is that they have an inability, because nobody taught them to do thought stopping. Okay, so then the thoughts just ramp up. Well, what if this and what if that? And oh my God, this, that, and the other thing. I can't stand being alone. I need a distraction. I need somebody outside of me to tell me I'm okay because I don't know how to self-soothe. That is what is going on with these people. So the best thing to do if you recognize that you have got either PTSD, CPTSD, BPD, borderline personality disorder, or this preoccupied, anxious attachment issue, get with a good trauma therapist and start working through your childhood. That is the only way. The only way out is through, guys. And I can't tell you the number of times I have people going, oh my God, no, there's got to be another answer. Where's the magic bullet? Well, it's scary. Yes, it is. Working on all of this trauma, working on, really acknowledging mom and or dad did not have my back. That is scary because you have to stop with the magic thinking. Because remember, abusers live in magic thinking. We were the best parents in the world. We gave you a roof over your head. We did this, we did that. And they neglect to, bring up all the shit they either did or did not do. So you've got to get out of the magic thinking. You've got to confront reality. You've got to be able to hit the abuse head on, and deal with it and work it through and master it. You become the master of your childhood. Your childhood is not the master of you. You are the boss. Your childhood is not. And that inner child needs so much love and so much comfort and so much reassurance, but it's got to come from inside. It cannot come from outside, because basically what it is these parents have set up such a hole inside of these kids that have anxious, preoccupied attachment issues, that no matter how many people go, you're great, I love you, you're fabulous, that hole is never filled, because that hole is constantly getting unfilled by the self-doubt and the negative messages that are in our heads. So the best way to deal with this is, and I'm not kidding you, get with a good trauma therapist. Get with somebody who understands attachment issues. Get with somebody who understands PTSD, CPTSD, borderline personality disorder. Borderline is rooted in trauma, guys. So if you find any of these symptoms familiar, get with a good trauma therapist. And you're going to have to start working on self-esteem, self-love, self-encouragement. So let's take a moment and talk about that. I often talk about mirror work. Why? Because we have to re-raise ourselves. We do not have, or we did not have, the parents there, the caregivers there that could give us the good information that we're safe, that we're okay, that it's all right, everything's going to be fine, etc. Does that make sense? So the mirror work is you are reprogramming your brain, or DBT. DBT is another great, dialectic behavioral therapy. So that's another good one to work on. That's mindfulness. What are you thinking? Why are you thinking? Where did this thought come from? Who taught it to you? Etc., etc. So when you do mirror work, because somebody asked me to go further in depth about mirror work. When you do mirror work, what you do is you're reprogramming your brain. You're talking to yourself, basically. And everybody talks to themselves, okay? The only people that don't are like, cannibals like Jeffrey Dahmer and murderers like, murderers like psychopaths like Ted Bundy, that kind of thing. Everybody talks to themselves. And if we have a healthy family, like I said, we've got a cheerleader. Good for you. Go you. You're fat. Oops, you screwed up. Okay, make amends. Good, you did. Okay, forgive yourself. Move on. I love you. Keep going. Okay. If we don't, we've got that negative, nasty voice. Not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. Or we've got the what if, oh my God. Or we've got a combination of one of the two or both, which drives us cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and drives a lot of the dysfunctional behavior that causes us to tank relationships, because we're so desperate to try to feel good that we end up overtaxing our partner or overtaxing our friends or whatever. Okay, so mirror work, what you're gonna do if you can. Not everybody is okay looking in the mirror. And here's the clue. Looking in the mirror and not liking it is not because of you don't like what you see. It's that you don't like what you hear. What are you telling yourself about looking in the mirror? What are you saying to you? So if you can't, like if it's just too painful to look in the mirror, at least for the very least, say it out loud until you can get comfortable looking at yourself in the mirror and being still. And that's hard to do if we have this anxious, preoccupied attachment issue. So hard to do, but not impossible. So what I recommend is whenever you catch a reflection of you anywhere, you say something nice. Like, I like that person. That's a good person. Wow, what a neat person that is, or whatever, okay? When you're doing mirror work, what I like is you wake up in the morning, you have a gratitude. Wow, I'm breathing. I'm on the right side of the turf. Woohoo! Gratitude for the day. Yeehaw. Then you go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, do whatever you need to do. Come back to the full-length mirror. Make eye contact with yourself, and you're going to say, hi, good to see you. Have a wonderful day. Now, why am I having you do that? Because that's what good parents do. When a parent sees a child they like, they light up. I don't know about you, but when I'm with all the nieces and the nephews and the grandnieces and the grandnephews and whatever, I am just lit up like a Christmas tree because I love those little buggers. So, hi, good to see you. Have a wonderful day. And I have just programmed my mind, my subconscious, that it's okay to have a wonderful day. Because think about it. How many times have we woken up and said, oh my God, today is going to suck ass? And then it did. Because we told ourselves it was going to suck ass. How you think it, and this is all cognitive behavioral therapy, how you think it is how it turns out, because our subconscious is constantly listening to what we are telling ourselves. So if we have these, good Lord, 5 minutes I'll be taking question. I haven't even covered the rest of the styles. All right, there's going to be a part 2 next week. Or later this week. We'll see how that goes. So if we have got all of these negative, nasty stuff, we're constantly hearing the negative and the nasty, and our life is going to be negative and nasty because that's all we're hearing. Our subconscious is constantly listening to that internal critic. You have got to shut the internal critic down. How? First of all, you have to be aware of it. You have to be aware that this internal critic is there. What is it saying to you on a daily basis? If it says anything less than, I love you, good job, keep going, you are to say, thank you for your input. I like naming it. Okay, Bertha, bitch, fuck off. Why? Because I say so. I am the boss of you. You are not the boss of me. And then you replace it with the polar opposite of whatever it just said. So let's say it does the, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. Okay, fuck off, Bertha. Why? Because I say so. I am enough. I am good enough. I am. Okay. And if it does the what if, shut up, Bertha. Why? Because I refuse to live in a future that has not fucking happened yet. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye. Okay. You stay in the present. So mirror work, when you look in the mirror, you say, hi, good to see you. Have a wonderful day. I give you permission to like yourself, and then walk out. That's all you got to do. And then when you catch your reflection, you say something nice to you. And then at night, you do the same thing. You get ready for bed, brush your teeth, do whatever, come back to the full-length mirror, and you're going to say, hey, good to see you again. Here are 3 things you did right today. So think about it. When we have got an abusive or neglectful parent, they never tell us what we did right, ever. They rub our nose in everything we did wrong. So as a good parent to you, as a reparenting parent to you, you remind yourself, you remind your inner child of the 3 things you did right that day. You did this right, you did this right, and you did this right. Good job. Hey, I give you permission to sleep well, and then go to bed. That's what I want you to do. I want you to reparent yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror the way a good mom or a good dad would. And a good mom and a good dad are thrilled to see you. They're happy to see you. They're like wanting the best for you. So there is that. Oh, I got 2 minutes. Okay, let's see where I am. Fearful avoidant. No. Dismissive avoidant attachment style. Those with strong dismissive avoidant attachment styles tend to manifest at least several of the following on a regular basis. Highly self-directed and self-sufficient, independently, behaviorally, and emotionally. They don't need anybody. They've decided the world is not safe. I can't depend on anybody except myself, so screw you. I've got this, okay? They avoid true intimacy. Intimacy scares the hell out of them. And when I say intimacy, I'm not talking sex. I'm talking real heart-to-heart, honest, open, authentic communication, being real with each other. They're very surface. They're very like, oh no, let's no, you're not going to get close to here. No, I did that once and I got burned. No, we're not going to do that. So they're very avoidant of true intimacy. It makes them feel vulnerable. And they don't like emotional obligations. Desire freedom physically and emotionally. No one puts a collar on me. Pushes away people that get too close. You will also find this in, again, borderline personality disorder. They will do the preemptive abandonment before they themselves get abandoned. So they may be having a great relationship. Everything is going great. And instead of enjoying it, they will go, oh God, this is too close. And I really love this person. What if they leave? Oh, I can't cope with that. Okay, I'm going to push you away so that I have control over it and you don't get to hurt me, which ends up hurting them anyway, which really sucks. So yeah, they will do the preemptive abandonment. Other priorities in life supersede a romantic relationship: workaholics, social life, personal projects and passion, travel, fun, etc. In these situations, the partner is frequently excluded or only holds a marginal existence in it. So again, they're holding people they love at arm's length. Many have commitment issues. Some prefer to be single rather than to settle down. Even in committed relationships, they prize autonomy above all else. They may have many acquaintances, but very few true close relationships. Because like I said, surface. It's all surface. Some may be passive aggressive and or narcissistic. For those on these traits, you want to look up narcissistic personality disorder. The last one, I'm going to go ahead and cover it, and then we're going to hit the questions because I want to make sure to cover it. I think I'm just going to do this all in one. Fearful avoidant attachment style. Those with a strong, fearful, avoidant attachment style tend to often associate with highly challenging life experiences as a child, such as abandonment and abuse. They desire, but simultaneously resist intimacy. So they really want it. So they're like that cat that like rubs against your leg and rub against your leg. And I really want to be pet, but then the second you bend down to pet it, it's all, that kind of thing. There's a lot of inner conflict with them. Lots of inner conflict in the head. Struggling with having confidence in and relying on others. There's no trust. Can you blame them? Fear annihilation, physically and or emotionally, in loving, intimate situations. So they feel like once they get involved in a healthy relationship, they feel consumed. They are afraid that they are going to disappear completely, because love is an amazing thing and it can be scary. And because they've never had that experience, because of their caregivers, it feels like they're going to be annihilated. And again, they will intentionally tank the relationship. Similar to anxious, preoccupied style, suspicious of others' intentions and words and actions. Similar to dismissive, avoidant style, pushes people away and have few genuinely close relationships. So how do you tackle this? It's really get with a really good trauma therapist, guys. Get with a good trauma therapist. Figure out the childhood issues. Work on the self-esteem with Glenn Schiraldi, the Self-Esteem Workbook, or You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. That's another good one. You want to work on you. You want to work on what is your relationship with yourself? What was your relationship with your caregivers? Are you intentionally sabotaging your relationships? Are you intentionally seeking out caregivers or romantic partners that remind you of the caregivers? So remember, when the little kid inside is in charge, they are the ones that go, oh, here's the original wound. Oh, I had all these issues with mom or dad or both. Looks outside and goes, oh, subconsciously, here's somebody that reminds me of mom and dad. I know if I can make this person love me, I prove these assholes wrong. Half of a shit sandwich, half of a shit sandwich, total shit sandwich. So that is what attachment styles, those are the different attachment styles. And those are things that groom us to be into abusive relationships. And it's especially bad for people with borderline, because narcissists feed off of borderlines. They feed off of people with attachment issues because they know that they're insecure, and they eat that up. They are just evil, evil, evil. The narcissists are evil, evil, evil. And they go after people that are insecure, have bad attachment issues, don't trust themselves, don't trust anybody else. That's what they do. So, all right, let's hit the questions. All right, let's do that. So really it boils down to self-esteem. You've got to start working on your self-esteem. You've got to start doing the mirror work. You've got to start working with a therapist and get through all of those childhood issues and really work it through. And like I said, so many people are like, but it's scary and I don't want to. And isn't there a quicker way? And isn't there a magic bullet? And no, there isn't. If there was, I would have told you guys. Trust me on this one. So, all right. So, question. How do you help a child neglected for the first years of their life, but was cared for properly afterwards, and now at 9 has an anxious attachment? Get them into a therapist. Get them into a child therapist that understands a neglect and or abuse. You're going to teach them breathing. You're going to teach them how to self-soothe. So it's super important for kids that have got anxiety, and a lot of kids do. It's so funny because people are just like, oh, they're kids, so they'll bounce back. Well, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, kids are extremely bounceable, backable, but they are not, it's not in a vacuum. They're going to need to be taught how to self-soothe. And that means self-soothing thoughts. I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. Anxiety, again, it's part of the amygdala. So when the amygdala gets triggered by something that reminds it of something bad that happened in the past, right? This little guy lights up like a Christmas tree, tells the hippocampus, hypothalamus to release cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone. We start tensing up. Then we take these puffy little breaths that don't go anywhere. And then that tells another part of the brain, oh my God, there's no oxygen CO2 exchange. This is fucked up. We need it. We need energy right now. So then it tells the adrenal gland that sits on top of the kidneys, oh my God, we need energy. So all of the adrenaline gets released, and now we're shaking like a leaf and racing thoughts, pounding heart, puffy little breaths that don't go anywhere. And we either have a panic attack, obsessive thoughts lead into a panic attack, or we turn into the Incredible Hulk and we end up raging at people that really don't need to be raged at. So you're going to have to teach that little one how to self-soothe. And that means breathing. You let oxygen back into the system and suddenly the brain goes, oh, there's enough oxygen. Okay, adrenal glands, stop pumping out the adrenaline. We don't need it. Oh, okay, hypothalamus and hippocampus, we don't need the cortisol. Stop. Everything's good. We're safe. And then you do self-soothing talk. It's okay. I'm safe. I'm all right. No, this is not the past. Blah, 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 blah. Do you see where I'm going with that? You got to teach them self-soothing because they don't know how to do it. Nobody ever taught them. Yoga is wonderful. John and I have been doing the Yoga with Adrian tapes on YouTube. Love it. Like I said, Leslie Rowan does yoga. She does yoga nidra. So she was my guest a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Yoga is really great for kids, and everybody's like, oh, well, but that's an adult thing. No, it's not. It's not. It's for kids too. Teach them yoga, because teaching them yoga does two things. One, it teaches you breath control. Super important. Two, it teaches you to bring your thoughts, when they start going, blah, 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 back to the breath. So it's a form of meditation, sneakily enough, as well. So it's a great thing. Do yoga with them. John and I just did yoga this morning in our living room with the Yoga with Adrian tapes on YouTube with our dog, because Scotty thought that he needed to be right in the middle of it. So, which is why I've got dog hair everywhere. Anyway, all right. So I've heard that psychopaths don't get involved with other psychopaths. Is that true? Do abusers not abuse each other? No, that is not true. They do get involved with other psychopaths, and it's usually of a lessening degree. So abusers do get with other narcissists. It's usually a minor narcissist. They do get involved with other abusers. It's usually a minor abuser, because remember, it's always a one-up for them. They've got to be top dog. So they're going to find somebody that they can manipulate easily. So it might be a minor one. It might be one with traits of, as opposed to full-blown. But yeah, no, they do. They do get with each other. Absolutely. Have you ever watched Good Will Hunting? If so, what did you make of the title character? Would you consider him an abuser? Guys, I haven't seen Good Will Hunting in years and years and years and years, and I would have to go back and watch it. So, so I will answer that question at a later date, because now I've got all this time in the world to watch movies. So, hey, there you go. Okay. Is it narcissistic behavior for a mother to force her 7-year-old child to pay for their own medical care? How in the hell can a 7-year-old child pay for their own medical care? I don't know if it's narcissistic behavior, but that's certainly not a mom I would call a mom, unless you want to attach another word at the end of the word mother. So yeah, I don't know what the situation is, and I don't know what you mean by that, because 7-year-olds don't have jobs. So how can they pay for their own medical care? I'm not clear what's going on. If you could clarify that for me, that would be great. I treat everyone with respect and kindness. Everyone seems to treat me like I'm stupid and put me down. How can I stop them from treating me this way? You have no control over other people. What you do have control with, though, over is whether or not you're going to be around them or not. And people, once they've started treating you poorly and you don't say anything, you've taught them how to treat you. So basically what I do, and this has not happened in years, but when somebody is disrespectful to me, I'm just like, no, that I'm not putting up with this. You don't get to speak to me that way. If you care to maybe, I don't know, go get your own counseling and deal on whatever anger issues you've got going, I'd be happy to come to counseling with you. Other than that, I'm not interested. And you turn around, you walk out, and you boot them the fuck out of your life. You do not put up with disrespect or abuse from anybody. And I don't care who they think they are. So that goes for family, that goes for friends, that goes for anybody. Okay. That's the way to stop them from doing that. You just don't put up with it. You walk out. I'm not going to be spoken to that way. When you have a civil tongue in your head, talk to me. Other than that, adios. I'm 25, and after completing 3 years of college, I am still utterly lost with what I want to do with my career. Nothing interests me, and it is severely stressing me out. Do you have any advice? I've never understood why we force people to figure out what it is they're going to be doing for the rest of their natural born life when they're young. I didn't know what I wanted to do until I was in my late 30s. I went back to get my master's degree when I was 35. 36, something like that. And it was then that I was like, oh yeah, this is what I should be doing, So don't stress out, hun. On average, people tend to go through 3 or 4 different career options before they finally figure out what it is they want to do. So now is the time to figure it out, play with it. What interests you? What do you love to do? What helps you? What helps other people? Where do you enjoy things? And I would get with a good life coach that specializes in helping people find their purpose in life with jobs. So, Susanna Quintana, she does the narcissistic recovery stuff. Sarah Picaro, she might be a good one. Leslie Rowan, definitely, get with somebody who can help you kind of play with different scenarios, different jobs, different, what ultimately can you see yourself doing? And yeah, 3 years of college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do acting, and I did it, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. But I also realized that entire industry is completely batshit crazy. So, and that's why I am a counselor today. So don't get stressed out. It takes time to figure it out, and don't beat yourself up, but do start journaling. Do start writing it out, get it out of your head, get it onto paper. What might interest you? So what I did before I went full bore into becoming a counselor and going through the program and everything like that is I started volunteering. I started volunteering at the New Song Center, the Dougie Center up in Portland, the New Song Center here in Phoenix. And I started seeing, am I good with clients? Can I work well with the public? Is this really what I want to be doing? Am I going to be of service here, or is this just not for me? I don't know. So I did it, and within 4 months, I was like, this is it. We're done. I'm going back to get my master's. Yep, this is what I want to do. So volunteering often helps people figure out what it is they want to do. So think about that. It's like if you're having an interest in something, go volunteer. See if it's something that is real or if it's just a passing fancy. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. How might the attachment styles and roles of an only child be different from those who have siblings? Well, the attachment styles would be the same because it's not based on whether or not you have siblings. It's based on whether or not the caregivers were consistently kind, not not, here 1 minute, I love you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, love you, hate you, love you, hate you. That's inconsistent. That is intermittent positive rewards. So it's based on what the parents do. Has nothing to do with siblings. So later on, the family roles will come into play when the parent starts assigning roles, like I talked about, I think it was last week. God, things are just blurring into each other here. So the sibling roles will come to play when you're a little older. Attachment style is established when you are infant, when you are baby kind of thing. So when you get older, that's when things start coming into play. And then with an only child, as far as roles are concerned, I feel sorry for the only child, because a crazy parent can literally run them through every single role that there is. Second spouse, if you're talking incest, golden child, can do no wrong, but then now you can't do anything right, and now you're the scapegoat, and now I'm going to ignore you because that's my whim this week because I'm batshit crazy. Thanks for playing, you stupid fuck. Anyway, do you see where I'm going with that? So it depends on what the parent is doing, and the roles change when the child starts growing up, as to what you are in the family, the golden child, the scapegoat, and you can be all of them if you're an only child, which really sucks. You can also be all of them if you have siblings, but usually when there are siblings, there's a set golden child, set ignored child, set scapegoat, etc. And then when one or more get healthy, all of a sudden everybody's switching around roles, and now the abuser has got to find replacements for the scapegoat, for the ignored child, for the golden child, etc. So I hope that answered the question. I have borderline personality disorder, and I was the scapegoat of the family. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Growing up, I passed on all of that abuse to my younger siblings. Oh, honey, no, you didn't. No. So now I feel so guilty. Nope. Absolve yourself, sweetie. It was up to your parents. It was not up to you. You were a child, okay? How can I forgive myself for abusing them when we were kids? Okay, so listen, guys. This is hard. This is really hard for people who have borderline personality disorder. You act out. That's just what we do. And we don't know what we're doing until we get some perspective on it. Now, did you harm them? Yes. Okay, so you've got to work on making amends if you can. So, but you don't want to do that if that's going to harm them more. So it's just like in AA. When you go to make amends, you make sure that you're not going to harm them more. If possible, get with a goddamn good DBT therapist, dialectic behavioral therapy. Work on the guilt. Work on how to make amends safely, both for them and for you. And if possible, once you've established a good relationship with your DBT therapist and you've got some good solid rock to lean on, self-esteem and self-love, ask your siblings to come to therapy with you to work on making amends. And you've got to be real, and you've got to be willing to take responsibility, and you've got to get rid of the shame. So it's an and world. It's an and world. So we take responsibility. This is something that abusers don't do. I have no responsibility for this. This isn't my fault. This isn't my problem. I take no responsibility. Bullshit, motherfucker. You're the abuser. You did this, okay? You got to take responsibility. So when we have passed on the abuse, okay, when we have been turned around and abused younger siblings because we did not know better, we've got to take ownership. Yes, I abused you. Yes, I harmed you. I take ownership, and I want to make amends, and I want to apologize, and I want to be real about it. So what can I do? And that's all you can do. And if they do something, stupid, like, oh, well, you need to give me $1 million. No, that's not what amends are about. Amends are, let's get real, let's talk. Okay. So you didn't know what you didn't know, but now you know. So you start forgiving yourself by working on your self-esteem, and you get with a good DBT therapist that's going to help guide you through all of this to help make sure your self-esteem is good, and you're going to make amends to the siblings if it is safe to do so for both them and for you. So gentle with you, my love. Gentle with you. Gentle with you. You write it out. Get it out of your head. Get it onto paper. Dear siblings, I did this, and this. I did not know any better. This is how mom and dad treated me, and it does not excuse it, but it sure as hell explains it. And then burn it. And then, keep working it through until you can get to the point where you can actually say that to them. So, and other than that, you got to forgive yourself. You got to, because, little kids, we just do what we see. We just do what is enacted on us. Okay. That's why I keep saying is abusers usually, not with narcissists usually, but abusers are abusing because that's what was done to them. And they just keep perpetuating it. So the best thing to do is to get with a good DBT therapist, start working on the guilt, start working on the shame, start working on the self-esteem, start working on how to make amends. How are you going to do this safely for you? And how are you going to do it safely for your siblings, and making sure that everybody is okay? And then you work on forgiveness. So there is a great couple of books. One is Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. There's another one, and that's usually about other people, but you can also apply that to yourself. There's also Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach, who is a Buddhist practitioner who wrote that book. So there is that. That's a tough one. I'm really sorry. So remember, though, it's like if this was your normal, you don't know that this is not normal until you're outside of it, and then you can look in and go, ooh, that's not normal. Then you can make amends. That's the beautiful news, is that you're aware of it, and now you can make amends, and that's good. So in a video earlier this week, you mentioned that the dark triad consists of narcissistic personality disorder, Machiavellian, and antisocial. But previously, you had said psychopathy. It's the same damn thing, guys. So antisocial and psychopathy are the same thing. Remember, the DSM-5 keeps changing terminology because they don't want to hurt anybody's little feelings. I'm sorry, but when it comes to psychopaths, I really don't give a fuck if you hurt their feelings. So antisocial is somebody who does not obey the laws of morality, of social rules, etc. Same thing with psychopaths. So it used to be called psychopathy. Now it's called antisocial. It's all the same. They do not abide by the rules of society. They think they're above the law. They think they can get away with stuff. They don't care. They have no empathy. They have no ability to discern right from wrong, or they do, and they just don't care. So that's what that is. So yeah, for sure. How can you determine if making amends could hurt somebody more? Well, it's if they are psychologically fragile, okay? If they are in a situation where contacting them could be dangerous for them, okay? If they are, that type of thing. So you talk it over with your healthcare provider, your mental health care provider, to see, okay, is this safe? Are they going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? So you kind of got to feel it out, in some cases, like, so for example, so in AA, if somebody needs to go back and make amends to somebody, but the person they want to make amends to is in the middle of an abusive relationship, and the spouse is like hyper jealous and, accuses that person of cheating all the time. If you contact them and say, hey, I want to make amends, that might put this person in a really dangerous situation. How would you know? Well, you kind of like see what's going on, check things out, talk to friends, that kind of thing, see how things are in their life kind of thing. And then you determine whether it would be dangerous for them or not. So there is that. That's a tough one. And that's one of the ones that really screws people up in AA as well. So yeah, that's a good question. Okay. I am almost out of questions. Hang on. How does an attachment disorder differ from a personality disorder? So a personality disorder are the sets of behaviors that the person has to cope with the attachment disorder. It's all connected, but they're two different things. So a personality disorder is the set of behaviors that people adapt in order to feel not abandoned, or to feel like, I have control, or whatever, that type of thing. All right. I think, oh, no, there's more. Why does my husband always say, I don't want to hurt my mom's feelings, and give in when she doesn't get her way and throws a fit? How old do you think he's operating from? So adults are able to stand up to other adults and be like, nope, buck stops here, not interested. You're not going to, no, I'm not going to play this game. No, I'm not going to, do you see where I'm going with that? But if somebody is operating from an inner child, 5, 6, maybe younger, they're going to be like, oh, I can't hurt mom's feelings. And okay, I gotta give in to mom so that she doesn't hurt me, or she doesn't come unglued, or she doesn't feel bad. So that's very codependent. So that's why, because they're operating from a much younger level than an adult. So a normal, healthy adult with good self-esteem, good boundaries, no codependency is able to go, Mom, I'm not letting you get away with this crap. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye. But somebody who is operating from a much younger level is unable to do that, because it's the inner child running the show as opposed to the adult person running the show. 7 more questions. Oh, okay. I will try to get to them. At the 1 o'clock though, guys, I'm going to stop because I can feel my throat starting to go, because we've got allergies in Arizona right now. It's springtime in Arizona, and that means everything's blooming. It's like, woo, yeah. Okay, I'm 5 months no contact. It seems like it is taking too long after a 15-month relationship, and he told my kids he loved them. I'm having a hard time. What to do? 5 months is nothing, guys. You're dealing with grieving. You're dealing with healing. You're dealing with unfucking your mind, basically. Because remember, when you're in an abusive relationship, they literally get into your brain with an egg beater and just scramble it, and it creates fear, obligation, and guilt. Okay. They do all sorts of lying fog. Okay. They lie, they rewrite history, they abuse you, they put you down, they humiliate you in public, they isolate you from family and friends, etc., etc. I'm 5 months no contact. That's nothing, guys. So the grieving process, normal grieving, listen to me now, believe me later. Normal grieving takes approximately an entire year. The Victorians had it right. So a year and a day. Why? Because you got to get through all the firsts. You got to get through the, anniversary of when you guys met, and birthdays, and holidays, and all of this stuff. And then you finally get to the point where, okay, it's the year anniversary of having broken up. Okay. Wow. Whew, you made it. So it's hard in that first year. That's normal. Normal grief takes a year. Normal. Okay. With an abuser, you've got complicated grief. Why? Because they did the intermittent positive rewards. I love you, I hate you, 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 I love, 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 hate, 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 love, hate, love, hate, love, hate. And we started living for those days when they were kind to us. So that's complicated grief. That can take up to 3 years, guys. Three, count them, 3 years. So you want to get with a good trauma therapist to break that trauma bonding so that you're not reminiscing, taking a walk down memory lane, or anything like that, because you do not, in this time of crisis, want to get a crisis Hoover, which is what these assholes are doing. So they're doing a crisis Hoover. And he told my kids he loved them. Okay, so you've got to work with kids about what love is. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is never abusive. Love is never raging or harmful or hurtful or anything else like that. Love does not insist that you give up family and or friends. Love does not insist that you punt your children to the street for your new boyfriend or girlfriend. Love does not, you see where I'm going with that? Get with a good therapist. Get with a good trauma therapist. And work on you, work on your self-esteem, work on the boundaries. Read The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Read Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Beyond Codependent No More, also by Melanie Beattie. So you're having a hard time because this is normal. This is normal. This is totally normal. And you're gonna have a hard time until you've done the grieving process and worked on yourself. So gentle, my love, gentle with you. This takes time. This is the thing about our society. It's like, we're so like, no, now. No, that is not the way the brain works. Hate to break it to you, because it takes repetition. Okay. Why do you think abusers repeat all the time? They're brainwashing you. Why do you think I am constantly repeating the same information? Because it takes, with a brain that has been abused, anywhere between 1 and 200 times of repeating things for things to finally soak in. And those of you who have contacted me and said, oh my God, finally a year and a half later, I get it. There's the proof. It's like, it takes time for it to soak through. And it takes time to undo the damage that these assholes did and replace it with the healthy stuff. So yeah, it's going to take time, sweetie. The first year, you're going to be struggling with all of the crap that person put you through, all of the grieving. I thought this was my soulmate. I thought this was the one. I thought this was my person. You're going to be dealing with all of the firsts, okay? Just like with a death, okay? And then you're also going to be dealing with the psychological trauma bonding that this person did to you. And that takes time. That's where the 2 to 3 years comes into play, because it takes time to undo that brainwashing. So gentle with you, gentle with you. Can someone have traits of become malignant over time? Yes, absolutely. Can they change back to normal if that happens sometime in the future? No. So what they do is what I've seen narcissists do, they will have traits of, and over time, they slide into malignancy. They don't get better, guys. They don't. They get worse with age. They do. There's nothing worse than an old narcissist, because the nursing homes are filled with them. And I'm sure I've told you the story before. When my mom was in her care facility, there was a woman down at the end of the hall who was just horrible. I mean, just really, it's like, I'm sorry, who the fuck do you think you are, bitch? She would spit at the caregivers. And she didn't have dementia. She had this expectation that she was the queen bee, and she needed to have everybody waiting on her hand and foot like she was, the matriarch of this care facility. And finally they kicked her out because she was just so miserable. She would call them names, and she would spit at them, and she would intentionally make messes and make them clean it up. And when I say make messes, I mean like bathroom messes, that kind of thing. And, but then she would have moments of being super sweet and super nice and super kind. And really, it's just depending on what they want or need to feed their ego. That's what it's all about. It's not that they suddenly become normal again. Once they've slid into malignancy and they are harming people and they are enjoying it, and she was, you watched her face, and she got that recognition grin or that recognition smirk when she hurt somebody, like, like she was enjoying it. She knew it. She knew she was being horrid. She did, but she enjoyed it. And she enjoyed watching people wait on her, because she was probably a narcissist. So they will slide back into kind behavior when it suits them, and that's it. And then they go right back into the malignancy. So it's not about them being normal for a long, consistent period of time. It's about them getting their ego and their supply. So it depends on what their supply needs at that time. So I hope that answered the question. I have never watched the Gilmore Girls. Chris, have you ever watched the Gilmore Girls? No, I've never watched it. I don't know about the Gilmore Girls. Maybe I should. I don't know. People have said that I should watch it, but I usually don't watch a lot of TV stuff. Like, I never was into Game of Thrones, or which I really could not watch, because people were like, oh yeah, there's incest and there's all sorts of horrible abusive things. I'm like, no, thank you. I deal with that on a daily basis. I really don't want to watch that. So I don't usually watch things like that. I usually don't watch dramas like that. I like comedies. I really do. I like laughing, and I don't know what Gilmore Girls is. I mean, vaguely know what it is. But usually what I watch is, I like to watch paranormal shows because I find it interesting. So, so there's that. That's usually what I make time to watch. If I do anything, why? Because there's very little, to think about when you're watching it. And it's kind of nice to just go, brain shut down, So anyway, there is that. How do you respond to somebody you love and value, but who shames you for your emotions or your situation? You draw very, 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 very strong boundaries with them. You let them know that that is absolutely not okay. And if they do it again, you are done, period. And that's hard to do. That is, when you love somebody and you value them and you worship the ground they walk on, and they turn on you and they start shaming you for your emotions or your situation, that's heart-wrenching. But then you have to ask yourself, why are you allowing this person to do that? Even though you love them, that's a disservice to you, and it's a disservice to them. So you let them know this is not okay. And either this behavior changes or we are finished as friends. Sorry. So That's what you got to do. It's a tough one, guys. It is. How can someone with an anxious attachment style tell the difference between an actual relationship issue and being triggered by something that is truly not meaningful? You talk about it. You bring things up in a healthy relationship. Nobody is afraid to bring up emotions. Nobody is afraid to bring up issues. Nobody is afraid to bring up fears. Nobody is afraid to bring up fill in the blank. So you can tell the difference by always checking in with your partner, okay? And you talk things through, okay? That is a good way to do it. If the partner is hanky and, not forthcoming or whatever, then yeah, you might have an issue, but you also don't want to be that spouse that's like, give me your phone, give me your phone, give me your phone all the time when there's no reason for you to be going through the phone. Does that make sense? Because what you're going to do is you're going to destroy whatever trust is there. They're going to get to the point of, well, I'm doing the time, might as well do the crime. That's how they start thinking, or this isn't worth it. I don't like it. I want out. You're driving me crazy. I'm miserable. Goodbye. That kind of thing. So you talk about it. And if you find that you have an anxious attachment style, either the preoccupied or the avoidant, get with a good therapist. Now is the time, guys. Now is the time. We're all on lockdown right now. So now is the time. Get your books off of Amazon. Get the Inner Child Workbook. Get CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving. Get the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, or You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. All of these are great books. Start working on why. Or there's a great DBT workbook that you can start doing on your own. Didn't think of that earlier. DBT workbook. It's on Amazon, and there's several of them. So you just pick whichever one kind of resonates with you. So you start working on the thoughts. You start working on the mistaken thoughts, the mistaken beliefs. Where did this come from? Why am I obsessing over this? What is happening? Who gave this to me? And it usually is a caregiver. So yeah, you talk to your partner. You always open, honest communication if they're healthy. If they're a narcissist, not so much. But if you're getting triggered by something that is truly not meaningful, you've really got to start doing the work on your attachment style. Now, the good news is that if you have these anxious attachment styles, they will get better if you do the work. And if you're in a healthy relationship with somebody who has a healthy attachment style, their behavior starts rubbing off on us because we do start mirroring or acting like our partner in a lot of ways. And if they're healthy, that's great. If they're unhealthy, that's horrible. But if they're healthy, that's great. And we find that our attachment starts getting more and more secure because we're around a healthy person and we're doing the work. So do the work, guys. There's no shortcut. There's no magic bullet. There's no, I'm going to avoid all the pain and suffering. Nope, sorry. The only way out is through. So do the work, and that's going to help you. Healthcare professionals would often recommend that I train my child to sleep by letting them cry it out. Ooh. It can create an unhealthy attachment. It can. And that's a tough one because you also don't want the child not sleeping in their own bed for your own sanity. But it's like it's a balance, guys. So it's kind of like, you don't want to let them cry it out to the point where they are literally giving themselves a hernia, as was the case with my middle sister, which my parents ignored her, and just let her scream and scream and scream and scream and scream because my father was a fucking asshole. So, don't get me started. Oh, while I'm on that topic, if you care to read these books, these are the ones that I've written. This is about my childhood. This is my personal experience growing up with somebody who definitely had borderline personality disorder and who probably was expressing a lot of the narcissism. He may have been both. And this is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him cha-cha, which is why some people get into abusive relationships. Some stay and some don't. So there is that. Does it create an unhealthy attachment? It can, if the child feels like their needs are not being met. So I disagree with the letting them cry it out, but I also agree that you need to have the kid learn to sleep in their own bed. So again, it's walking a fine line, but you don't let them cry it out to the point where they're so distraught and so distressed that they're literally giving themselves a hernia. So yeah, that's a tough one, guys, but I disagree with letting them cry it out. I really do. I am no contact with my parents. I got a text from something. Oh, golden child, saying, we will continue to update you about them because they are still your parents and still exist in the moment. How should I respond? You don't. Do not respond. Do not respond. So remember, in this time of crisis, the narcissists are desperate for supply. Why? Because if you're no contact with them, they're no contact from everybody else because of being, isolated and all this stuff. And they're going to use every single flying monkey at their disposal to try to bring you back into the fold so that they have some entertainment in the next 2 weeks. So you do not respond. You just, no response. There's no response needed. And remember, no response is in fact a response. So you don't respond. You just don't respond. You owe them goose egg. You owe them nothing. Absolutely. Okay, guys, I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. I am going to do another video probably sometime tomorrow to answer the questions that I did not get to yesterday. So, and there's a whole bunch of questions that I've been getting on IM that I have not had a chance to answer either. I'm so sorry. Let me get to those. So next week, I want to talk more about something. I'm not sure what. Boy, my brain. Hello, I need more caffeine. So I will figure out what the heck we're talking about next week. I do have some suggestions from people that they wanted me to cover. I'm trying to think of what those were, and my brain is just gone. Anyway, have a wonderful week. Please be kind to yourselves. Please be gentle with yourselves. Be gentle with each other. And remember, when you are out and about and you're shopping and people are being angry, it's because they're afraid. Anger is based in fear. They're terrified. So don't buy into it. Don't respond to the anger in kind. You just look at them and go, that person's really terrified. And you go about your merry way. Do not hoard toilet paper. Please do not hoard rubbing alcohol. Soap and water is good enough, guys. If you wash your hands, you're good. But what you're doing is you're depriving people that have medical devices that need to be sterilized of rubbing alcohol. Please don't do that. Check in on your neighbors. Check on everybody. If you hear domestic violence going on, call the police. All right, my loves, I will talk to you next week. Be good, be safe, stay healthy. And I will find my cursor and I will probably do another session sometime tomorrow. All right, talk to you later. Bye.